So we only have a couple days left of classes right now. School's almost out for the whole year. It's coming to the point of the year where a lot of spring camps are happening, a lot of development camps and ID.
Hey buddy.
Hey, how's it going? Taking advice from somebody who spent a lot of time traveling and f***ing up a lot of opportunities, I want to dedicate today's video to showing you how to make the best first impression you can and ultimately lay a path to success for any team, any level, any coach. I've spent a lot of time on the phone, emails, cold calling coaches, trying to find opportunities in the game. A lot of times, players get intimidated by coaches. I'm gonna help you today with that. If I was to go on a date and say a bunch of weird, awkward things, I'm probably not gonna get a second date. Exact same thing when it comes to impressing a coach. Coaches want guys with confidence. They want a guy who can get the job done. Coincidentally, on the same topic of impressing a coach, I happen to have an over-the-phone interview with a head coach today from a college. There's a couple of very key steps to follow when trying to make a good impression with the coach. When you go to apply for a job, you don't go to the workplace and start begging the guy for a job and tell him how much you like him and how much you want to work for him. Keep it simple, keep it strictly business. This is who I am, this is where I played, here's a couple references. Maybe don't necessarily involve a stat line because you want to keep it as condensed and as sweet as possible. Stat lines can be easily found on Elite Prospects or Hockey DB. He'll actually want to read it instead of throwing in the paper shredder the second he gets it.
I got 100% of my presentation. Fuck yeah.
There we go, honey. A coach at a proper junior A level or a college level gets 1,000 emails a day. I'm exaggerating a little bit. You have to find a way to stand up here while everybody is here. Everybody's gonna send a generic email. Make it personalized. Make it seem like you did your research. Hello, Coach so-and-so. My name is so-and-so. I played this last season for so-and-so. This is what I was able to accomplish. Short and sweet, don't give them a whole stat line and your whole life story in about 15 paragraphs. Less is more in hockey, less is more here as well. Think of it like a car salesman. Their incentive is to sell to you to make a paycheck. Your incentive is to get on that team. At some point, you have to hand it off to the coach and he has to buy into what you're selling. If he doesn't buy in, well, sadly, you have to move on. I learned that lesson the hard way because you can't put all your eggs into one basket. Let's say you get a recruit trip, you get an ID camp, development camp, whatever the case may be. You meet that coach, you look him in the eye and say, hey, pleasure to meet you. You shake his hand. Don't give him any of that wet noodle shit. Give him a firm handshake. Seriously, there's nothing pisses me off more than a soft handshake. Excuse me? Can I pet your dog? Getting some good sniffs out there today? You have a good day. Now, you're watching this video and maybe you think, this guy doesn't know shit about hockey, you were never successful, why should I listen to you? If there's only one thing you take out of this video, take this for my advice. My kid was the last cuts for the Brandon Wheat King, but he's playing recreational community club hockey. That pisses you off. Well, for a couple of reasons, mainly being because it's not realistic. Secondly, the amount of times a coach is gonna hear that same sob story, I couldn't even keep track. Because the coach is gonna ask you, where did you play? Who is your coach? How is your season? He's gonna ask you all these questions to get an idea of your character. And if you start coming in and saying, yeah, our coach sucked, he had no idea what he was doing, he's a dickhead, you are immediately killing every chance you have of making that team. Coaches are looking for guys that aren't just great players, they're looking for guys that are great guys in the locker room, great on the bench, great in the community, great in general. Some may call this manipulating. It's about painting a picture. It's about painting a picture that you are the guy for the team. Yes, you are there to be successful. Guys that are going the extra mile, not the guys that are just barely scraping by. One of the hardest lessons I've had to learn in my career is understanding your role. You pay your dues. Although a lot of society nowadays is very self-entitled, you have to pay your dues when it comes to hockey. You start fourth line, you start as the backup goalie, you work your way up the pecking order. It's like in any workplace. Be a professional. Being out here on the ocean is one of my favorite things. I also love SidelineSwap.com. Every time you go to Sideline Swap, you'll be yelling, "Shell yeah." That's a bad seafood pun. Go to SidelineSwap.com. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next week or whenever the next video is up.